Welcome to HBD Sports. It's Friday, baby. It's money. It's Clyde. We're going to talk some wrestling. You ready, brother?
Yeah, baby, I'm ready to go.
Me too.
That's right.
Take me to the river, brother.
Yeah, with the van and everything right there.
So how you doing today? It's Friday, man. We got a lot to get into. There was a lot of news last night in the wrestling world. I guess we can touch on all these stories, man. You ready to do this?
Yeah, I'm ready to get rolling, man. I was ready to talk some wrestling, baby.
So, Joey Janela had some thoughts on AEW and whether or not they'd have a death match. Jim Ross, we got a lot of news regarding him, lots of rumors of what his future holds. Tommaso Ciampa, we got some update on his surgery. Evidently, is that Thunder Liger is retiring? Is that correct?
Yeah, Jushin Thunder Liger, yeah, he's hanging him up, man. What a storied career. He was a star everywhere he went.
Yeah, he was, and so he's retiring. We're gonna touch on that later. Ronda Rousey is angry at the wrestling universe, and we're also going to go over some of our top 5 WWE Intercontinental Champions of all time. So you don't want to miss that. We got a lot going on today's show. And but before we hop into the news, brother, why don't you be so kind as to tell the people what's going to happen if this show is lucky enough to hit 1K subscribers?
Well, at 1K, we're going to have David over here dressed as an Elvis, and he's just going to wear my ass out with the guitar. That's what's going to happen.
So what's going to happen? It's going to be on video. It's going to be beautiful. And if it's not me, maybe we'll get like the guys from Heavy Machinery, or we'll figure out somebody to really lay it on you with the guitar, brother.
Yeah, we'll have to make sure somebody doesn't have a copyright.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find somebody. So I guess having said all that, we'll hop on into the news for today, and we'll start off on a good note here. This sounds fun, actually. Did you hear about what Joey Janela had to say? He's signed with AEW, and they also have not only do they have Joey Janela, but they also have what's his name? Is it Havoc, right?
Yes. Are you talking about Son of Havoc?
No. I'm talking about Jimmy Havoc.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he was interviewed recently by 411 Mania, and they was asking him like some questions about AEW and like what kind of matches they might see there in the future. And he said on the possibility of AEW having a deathmatch element. Yeah, I think so. I mean, you have two of the most famous guys who have participated in death matches, me and Jimmy Havoc, on the same roster. And my goal is to bring that to a big arena and not hold back and not let them tell me, what a death match. I mean, I know what a death match is.
By God, JR. I don't know about that, brother. I'm probably in the minority on this. I'm not a big fan of the death match. But, it'll bring ratings, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's there's a place for it in some, in a certain right setting. I don't think it's something that they're going to use all the time, but it would be kind of cool to maybe see one here or there, I think. Yeah,
I mean, if it's done right, I just hope nobody gets hurt too bad, man. I don't know. I'm just not a fan, no disrespect to
No, I know. I'm right there with you on that. You're a fan of you want to see real good technical wrestling in the ring, and that's kind of what you're a fan of, and I appreciate that, and I am too. I'm just saying, there's a place for it here and there sprinkled in. Not every pay-per-view, but maybe once a year, twice a year, I could see them, pulling out that gimmick.
Yeah. It is what it is, man. I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy it, though.
So sticking with the AEW news here, Jim Ross, I guess you heard the news broke the other day. Jim Ross was, leaving WWE and not going to re-sign, and evidently AEW's come in and swooped in and offered him a contract. Have you heard that? Have you seen the rumors going around?
I did see the rumors. I haven't seen it confirmed. I've seen even the number of $1 million, what a coup that would be. I would love to have JR if I had a wrestling company. It'd be a first option for me.
That's what I was thinking, the same thing, and I took that. I took the little the tweet when I found it, and I kind of put it into like a little placard picture, and I shared it around Facebook, and everybody on Facebook gave me a pretty good reception to it. Everybody was like, yeah, let's JR to AEW, heck yeah. Even in our AEW group, everybody was like, yeah, JR to AEW, it sounds good. I shared it on Reddit, man, and man, the wrestling acumen, like everybody's knowledge on Reddit, man, they're just up there, dude. And like they're going back and forth debating whether or not this will be good for AEW, and I think it will be good for him. I don't know. There's something nostalgic about JR, and I know he's not as good as he was back in the '90s. Now I understand that, but you got to give the man his props, and I think he'll definitely get some eyes on the TV.
Well, me personally, man, I think I'm a lot like you. I'm a huge JR Mark. If it was my company, he'd be the first person, and I would offer him that kind of money because he's worth every penny of it. That guy is a fan. He said it at his Hall of Fame speech. He said, "I'm the first fan to be inducted to the Hall of Fame." He really loves what he's doing, and it shows, man.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, man. JR is a legend, and like I said, love him or hate him, and I assume most people love him, but evidently he has a few detractors out there. I guess we all do, because no one loves our podcast, but that's okay, brother. We're going to keep churning away at it, and but love JR or hate him, man. You got to give the man his props and give the man his due respect, and I definitely think that he's going to be an attribute to AEW if that's the route they decide to go.
Yeah, check out his barbecue sauce and his beef jerky. It's good too. Just a little something special for JR, a little free advertisement there.
That's right, yeah. Got to give JR some advertisement there, baby.
That's right.
And so without further ado, I guess we'll hop into, this is your favorite segment of the day, and it's our Jeff Jarrett news of the day. Did you hear about Jeff Jarrett?
No, what's going on with Double J?
Oh, Double J, baby. Evidently, Double J is joining the creative team for WWE.
Oh, yeah, I actually did hear. I heard about that a few weeks back, bud. He's already been on there. I seen him. He was backstage on one of them documentaries they had.
Yeah, well, I'd seen him on the show, and I had seen him at the wrestling a couple times in the last few weeks, but I didn't know that he had signed with Creative here, and I'm just pulling up this article. This is by Wrestle News. It just says WWE has another addition to the creative team, and Jeff Jarrett, according to PW Insider, he was involved in helping write last week's Raw and SmackDown, which was followed by a few days working out of WWE headquarters in Connecticut.
Yeah, the business is in his blood. He's ran his own, TNA at the beginning that was him and his father, Jerry Jarrett. Pretty good wrestling promoter also, man. Vince is loading up, man. Bruce Pritchard, Jeff Jarrett, even Abyss, I think, from Impact Wrestling as part of creative now.
Yeah, they're loading the cupboards, brother. That's what they're doing. Stocking the cupboards up, brother.
Yeah, they better get ready. They're not saying it's a war, but it's got a little bit of a feel to it, man.
Man, it definitely does. And before we move on today, let me say I appreciate you leaving your purse at home. You seem to have brought your wrestling knowledge. You put the right cap on your head today. There, you didn't paint your nails today. And when I say paint them, I don't mean Hardy style. I mean you paint yours with glitter and butterflies and stuff. So
no, I'm coming over Sunday. We're gonna handle this, bro.
So I appreciate you being ready for the show today and having and being on your A game, brother. Yesterday's show, I was dragging you through a wilderness or through the Sahara without water. But we made it. We made it through, brother. That's the main thing.
Yeah, sometimes the mind wanders a little bit. But.
Yeah, sometimes the mind wanders. All right. Speaking of wandering mind, we've got a lot more to get into today. We just want to touch on Tommaso Ciampa's injury here, and I don't know if you've seen. Did you see the update on his surgery?
Yes, I did. I seen everything went well. I seen the picture with him giving the thumbs up. But your heart's got to still go out to the man. You know what I'm saying? I know you're a fan. I'm a fan. And I guarantee most of our listeners, the guy is legit, man. It's just a shame, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a shame, especially, and you've heard my thoughts on this before in previous podcasts, but just considering that, this is kind of at the peak of his career, and, he's had such momentum, leading up to this, and it just kind of sucks to see an injury take it away, of all things, but, it's part of the business, like you said, but yeah, I've seen some of the pictures here from Ciampa Surgery, and evidently he had an interior cervical fusion, and they showed pictures of the hardware stuff. Just check out WWE.com. So this, we know this isn't a work here with the Ciampa injury. It's real, and he's undergone spinal fusion surgery, and it says he's expected to be on the shelf for at least 6 months. So there's your Tommaso Ciampa update for today, and hopefully he has a speedy recovery and is back in the ring soon.
Yeah. Prayers, well wishes, good vibes, whatever you want to call it for Mr. Ciampa there, man.
Mr. Ciampa.
Yeah, I like him, man. He reminds me of the Lorax a little bit, man. I like him. I like what he does in there.
Yeah, oh man, he's great at what he does. So, I guess I don't know if you heard. Did you hear that Kurt Angle actually had a few words for you recently?
Oh no, now you got me worried. He's one of my heroes, man.
Yeah, Kurt Angle. Evidently, you and him had a few words one day. I don't know what's going on here, in the offices, with maybe in passing, but
I must have been drinking. I don't remember it, brother.
Okay, well here's what Kurt had to say to you, brother.
And when he got up, we didn't exchange words. I said, you know what? You're a stupid son of a bitch. He said,
that's what Kurt had.
Yeah. He called me drinking, bro.
I don't know what like that was in passing at the airport. Like a fan just happened to have like a tape recorder handy, and they was asking about you and something with you and Kurt had happened here in our offices. And Vince isn't sitting, he doesn't come in on Fridays, so I can't really confirm the story with him. So I don't know if do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, buddy, I'm gonna chalk that up to having too many drinks. I don't even recall that, bro.
One too many Wisconsin wheelbarrows, huh?
Yeah. The spinning spider, all that stuff, brother.
So, we got a little bit more news. I guess now that we've moved on from Kurt Angle's thoughts about you, brother, we can move on to the rest of the news for today. Did you have a chance to before we hop into, we got a few more things we're going to touch on for today. We're going to touch on Ronda Rousey and her angry rant. We've got to play Random Wrestling Knowledge with Clyde, and then we're both going to go over our top 5 Intercontinental Champions of all time to wrap the show up for today. But we'll move right along with this. Did you see Ronda Rousey's angry rant recently?
Yeah, man. It seemed like every wrestling page I visited had it. It's well done, but I'm not falling for it, man. This feels like she watched her Roddy Piper tapes or something. It's just that kind of real heat, man. So we'll see what happens. I'm not buying it. If you notice, if you watch it, she almost says the F word, and she stops herself. To me, that right there tells you, if you watch it back, that this is a work.
It's a work, brother. Just like the whole Dean Ambrose thing. It's all a work, brother.
Yeah, it's all gimmickry, but I love it, man. Yeah, it's good stuff.
I love it, man. Pure heel heat, baby. Pure heel heat. She's doing a great job.
Have you watched the video, Dave? It's good.
No, I did see just a couple of seconds of it. It started automatically playing on a Facebook thing, but I was actually at a red light, so I really shouldn't have been watching it. So no, I really haven't had a chance to sit down and watch the entire video.
If you check it out, watch it like 2 times, and you can see her almost saying the F word, which you don't say in wrestling. And she stopped herself and said something else. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Generating the heat, baby. That's what I like to see. But yeah, I know it's just everywhere you look. That's what the word is right now. Ronda Rousey's angry rant on the WWE Universe. So I knew you had seen it, brother. I knew you was going to be prepared today, especially after the verbal lashing you took from me yesterday. And I apologize for having to push you over the edge, but now you're prepared, focused, and I'd like to see it,
Well, I'm gonna have the same focus Sunday when we settle this in the ditch out there.
Yep, Sunday. This man's coming over. We're gonna watch the pay-per-view together and hang out, have a good time. Maybe have a festival of friendship. It's gonna be a good day, and then hopefully we'll have like a special podcast or something for you guys if we can fit it into the schedule, bro. If it's in the budget, I don't know what Creative's got for us.
Yeah, we need to barter some action figures and maybe cut some promos too, bro.
And speaking of action figures, I know you love to talk about these daggone toys, even though I really can't stand to do it, brother.
Yeah, right.
For all of you retro action figure fans out there, Ringside Collectibles has this coolest thing out here. It's like an LJN style Young Bucks. Did you see that? It's on pre-order right now.
Yeah, is that confirmed that it's on the pre-order?
Well, you was telling me it was on pre-order, but I just seen the. If you go to ringsidecollectibles.com, like over on the right-hand side of the page, they have like a YouTube video like showing the toys and talking about them. So either they're on pre-order or the pre-order's coming up, I'm assuming.
That's awesome, man. I'm looking forward to getting a few of those. I think those will go up pretty quick in value, and it's not all about that to me. Those are going to be really cool.
Yeah, just for you old school wrestling fans out there, like, and kind of want to have like a. To buy something today that reminds you of something from 1987 or something, it's just pretty cool to be able to do that. So there's a little plug there for you and your toys, brother. Well, now we'll move along, damn it, because we ain't got time for that, brother.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, so here we'll play your favorite segment of the day, and it's called Random Wrestling Knowledge with Clyde. Are you ready, brother?
Yeah, shoot, brother, shoot.
All right. We're going to ask you 3 random questions to see how you do. You didn't have any time to prepare for this today. Audience, feel free to play along. And, we'll hop right into it. Jim Ross. Question number 1. Jim Ross was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class in what year?
I'm going to say 2007. I don't know.
Correct. Good job.
okay.
Good job,
Good
brother.
guess. Good guess.
2007. Man, great job. I love it. Focus
Try
today.
the barbecue sauce. Try the barbecue sauce.
Focus today, brother.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair is a set. So question number 2. I guess I better clarify before we move on here. I'm the one slacking today, dude. I might really need to take the guitar shot.
No, brother. We always look out for each other, man.
All right, you know we do, brother. You know we do. All right, man. Before you get too emotional, Charlotte Flair is a 7-time women's world champion in WWE, a record she shares with blank.
Let's see. Trish Stratus.
Yes, correct. 2 for 2 today, brother. I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
Look out.
Third question, I don't know. We've discussed this gentleman a couple of times in the last week or so, but we've never really talked about it like this. So let's see what you got. What is Erick Rowans' real name?
Erick Rowans' real name. Whew, man. I'm gonna have to pass, man. I'm not really sure on that.
You don't know his real name? You was doing so good today, dude.
You're gonna say Erick Rowans' real name?
Oh man, you was doing so good today. Erick Rowans' real name is Rowan Eric. No, I'm just joking.
His real name is Erick Rowans.
No, his real name is Joseph Rudd. Joseph Rudd.
I did not know that, man.
And you learned something new today here on Random Wrestling Knowledge with Clyde, brother, right there.
Yeah, I like the old. They just started calling him the Redwood. I kind of like that name.
Yeah, him and Daniel Bryan getting in touch with their
nature, brother, man.
Inner manhood, brother. Hugging some trees.
Got the hemp belt, man. I like it.
I like it too. So I guess what we'll do now is we'll move on to your favorite segment of the show. It's where this is your favorite segment. It's kind of where we talk about, something historic and
Carlito.
I know I seen Carlito recently. Was that you that posted the match on Facebook that had him in there?
Oh yeah, man, that was a cough. My bad. Yeah, I did put a match on Carlito.
All right, so for the final segment for today, we're gonna close up the show with this, brother. I know you like to talk about stuff like this. Our favorite 5 Intercontinental Champions of all time, and I guess I'll let you lead this off. But I mean, the list is so immense, and like you said, this is the workers' belt. This is the belt that a lot of times the best worker in the company will have, and we want to show just a little bit of love here and kind of go over our top 5 Intercontinental Champions of all time. So why don't you go ahead and open up, brother?
I'll take at 1. I'll take Macho Man Randy Savage. 2, I'll take Bret Hart. 3, I'm going Mr. Perfect. 4, I'm going to go ahead and go Piper. I know he didn't have it very long, but it's Roddy Piper. And 5th, Chris Jericho.
Beautiful list. Is it so? Who's had the Intercontinental Championship more than anybody else?
I believe it's Jericho at 10, maybe 9. I want to say 10, man. I think The Miz is right there. Honorable mention, by the way, if I can get one to The Miz, that would be if we're doing that.
Do you know who the first Intercontinental Champion ever was?
Pat Patterson. He won it in Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro, yes. But you know what? I'm not gonna bust your balls today, brother. At least you're on your game. I'm liking this. You're sharp today. Like if you guys go back and listen to yesterday's show, it was nothing short of a clusterfuck, and we somehow made it through it. But and today you're on your A game, brother. I'm feeling like I'm not as sharp as I should be here sitting next to you, gentlemen. So I appreciate you sharpening up.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah. Pat Patterson was the first Intercontinental Champion of all time. Yeah, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, absolutely, and held it for 233 days. Out of the gate. Okay,
yeah, that's amazing, man.
So we'll go ahead. I guess my top 5, and it's so tough to narrow this down. It's just it's a tough list. But my number 1 Intercontinental champion of all time is going to be Randy Savage. Number 2, I'm going to go with Chris Jericho. Number 3, I am going to go with Roddy Piper. Number 4, Ravishing Rick Rude. And number 5, I got to hit The Miz. I got to put The Miz in there, man. I got to give a little love to the current roster. I mean, what the guy has done has been nothing short of remarkable. And how many times did he have the Intercontinental Championship? Do you know off the top of your head?
I want to say he might be at 9, or he could have even tied Jericho. He's right there with Jericho.
Yeah, it just seems like throughout the last better part of the last decade. I mean, when I think about the Intercontinental Championship, I just put the Miz's face right next to it.
Yeah, he is literally the worker's worker, man. He does everything the company asks, and he knocks it out of the park in everything he does.
Yeah, so the Intercontinental belt has changed hands a lot, dude, and over the years, I mean, guys like the Ultimate Warrior, Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart, the Mountie, the British Bulldog, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, Razor Ramon, Diesel, Jeff Jarrett, all these guys have held this title over the years, and
Carlito.
Yeah, Goldust. I mean, so many guys have held this title over the years. I mean, even China held the title.
Let's not forget about Owen Hart.
Absolutely. Yeah, even Val Venis.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that, brother.
For whatever reason, Val Venis used to remind me of Triple H back then. I used to kind of get them confused. They kind of looked alike and stuff.
I used to get almost creeped out when he'd come on, man. I'd be like, this is kind of weird. I'd almost want to turn off. I wouldn't let my kid look at it or not.
I don't know why. I did not dig the Val Venis gimmick.
No, man, me either.
But I love Rick Rude. Like, what is wrong with me?
Rick Rude was cold, though, man. Rick Rude, one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time.
But they both did the same thing. I know that they both kind of did the same gimmick when they came. But Rick Rude sold it so well, I guess. I don't know. Rick Rude,
Man, Rude was he was cut out of granite, dude, and he was like a legit tough guy. And man, if you look at his matches, he made everybody look better.
Yeah, quick Rick Rude story, and before we hop out for the day, I'll let you put a bow on this after I tell this real quick story about Rick Rude. Did you hear? I think it was Mr. Perfect was in a bar one time with Rick Rude and several other wrestlers, and there was a bunch of cops in the bar, or sheriffs or something like that, and one of them was wanting to arm wrestle Mr. Perfect for like $500, and he said, "I'll tell you what." He said, "Let's make it 1,000." And Mr. Perfect said this to the cop: "Let's make it $1,000, and you arm wrestle the guy over there in the corner." And the guy was actually Rick Rude sitting in the corner, and the cop, the sheriff was evidently some big burly dude, and he was like, "Yeah, all right, that's fine, let's do it." And then, so Rude came up there, and then the cops held their hands together and lined him up for several minutes, and then finally released him, go. And then so Rude just slammed him, boom, just set him straight down, it was over. And then he said Mr. Perfect grabbed his $1,000 and quickly left the bar. And that's kind of a summary of the story I heard. But yeah, that goes to show you, Rick Rude, man, no joke. I heard he even won some. Was he some kind of arm wrestling champion too?
Yeah, he was a legit tough guy, man. Him and Mr. Perfect, all them wrestlers that come out of that Minnesota area, man. A lot of legendary wrestlers come from that area.
Absolutely.
We could do it in the future. We could probably do a whole episode on Minnesota wrestling.
Right, yeah.
Wrestlers, I'm saying, from the state.
No, we could, man. It's a hotbed, especially in the late 70s throughout the 80s, man. It was definitely a hotbed of talent, man. I mean, tons of them guys made it to the big show,
Yeah, I'm with you on Rude, though, man.
WWE wouldn't be possible without a lot of them guys from Minnesota. Might not have been possible back then.
I mean, you got Legion of Doom. I believe even Ric Flair got a start up in Minnesota.
All right, so
AWA.
I guess before we just ramble on about 1980s Minnesota wrestling for 4 hours, we'll go ahead and put a bow on this, because I would like to give that show some proper justice and actually set it as a topic one day. And I know you hadn't been feeling too well, brother. I've kind of been under the weather myself, but we churned it out, brother. We made it through the show today, and I appreciate you joining us. Do you want to go ahead and put a bow on this?
Yes, sir. Anybody that listens to us today, we appreciate it. Let us know if you like us. Let us know if you don't. Hit us with that Bundy splash for the 5 count, and we're going to share this on all of our Facebook affiliate pages. All Elite Wrestling, all capitals. Becky Lynch Mob, Bliss Army, Kofi Kingston Club, Carlito's Caribbean Cabana, the Hitman Club, I Heart Pro Wrestling, WWF LJ Maniacs, and I think that's all of them, but we'll get that all together.
Yeah, I think that is all of them, brother. If you got one thing ready every day, it's the list, and I appreciate that, because you can't find that list anywhere else. And for you having that ready, you just made my list, brother. And so if you guys like us out there, put us over, give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe. If you don't like us, let us know. We'll do a job for you on your show. That's the way we roll right here on the People's Podcast, and we're going to sign on out of here. I guess we'll catch you guys next week, or maybe Sunday. You never know what we're going to do around here, brother.